Welcome to That American Football Show, powered by EP Sports. EP Sports is a top supplier in the UK for all your American football needs, helping players and coaches reach their potential since 2007. Check them out at epsports.co.uk. I'm here with Joe, Tim and Craig, and coming back on the show, we've got Phoebe Schecter from the UK Dukes, and joining her is co-founder Kenny Bello. Phoebe, great to see you again, and Kenny, it's great to finally have you on the show to talk some football. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, really well, thank you. I'm excited to be back personally.
Thanks for having us, and I'm not offended that this is only my first time at all. I'm just going to take it nice and easy. I appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Not a problem at all. So for maybe the listeners that didn't hear the last interview we had with Phoebe, do you guys kind of want to break down what the UK Dukes actually are and what you guys do?
This is my favorite bit because we get to check how much Phoebe remembers the spiel. So
I'll give a little shortened version, and then Kenny can go into full detail as he is the real founder of the UK Dukes. So really what we are is we use American football as a tool to inspire children and get people involved in the sport. I think that's something that's so unique to the sport outside of the US is we all kind of we're fans of it, or we start at the same level, and just getting people involved. I think that's our biggest thing. And we both come from a background in terms of this sport has given us so much throughout our lives that we just want to give back. And this really allows us to do that. So that's always what kind of our compass essentially.
Yes. And to just add to that, I think it's now a business that started quite by accident. I heard that today, so I'm borrowing it. But it started off as something that was meant to engage kind of children and young people in the sport of American football and kind of what to do if you weren't a part of a team or you did, it wasn't practice, but you and a mate with a ball. What fun things can you do? Between Odell Beckham, catch a ball one hand, it's like, yeah, that's easy. It is not easy, but went down, filmed some of that stuff. And it, got some fairly good traction on social media. And since then, our purpose has been to develop a brand more than anything else that, we could apply to any number of things, but people would know it was high quality, people would know it was fun, and people would know it was American football. Those are our three kind of main goals. So anything to do with football will be there or thereabouts, or will have something to do with it. And it's just to make sure that people are having a great time, a quality time with it, because the best experiences keep people coming back essentially. So yeah, that's the Dukes.
Yeah, I've seen some of your stuff on social medias, and it just looks also like you said, fun. It just looks like you want to be there helping out and everything.
Yeah. It's being able to create an environment that people want to be, as you said, a part of, that just looks the part, sounds the part, just feels, I don't know. But I mean, it's football. Like, who's not happy to be around football? If you're not happy to be around football, you're having a really tough time, So that's it's a kind of an easy win, but a win-win as well for us in that regard.
It does look like a lot of fun. I seen the clip you shared from a little while ago the other day, the somersault catch. I was just curious how many takes that took. Did you manage your first try, or did it take a few goals?
Always one. That's the answer.
Now we just got to teach Kenny to do it. That's a big trick. We've done a bit on the trampolines, the backflip catches, but yeah, we're working on it.
I prefer solid ground, a nice bit of turf underneath my feet. I'm happy.
Did you ever used to watch those the old fantasy football file videos where it's like they used to do like pick me, and it's like punching through the wall and grabbing a ball?
We tried some of those in real life, because I don't know if you guys know, but those things were fake. They were as fake as they.
I refuse to believe someone can't dive through both windows of the car.
Oh man, yeah. So we tried a few of those from time to time, and yeah, really difficult. But we used to watch a lot of those, and they were some of the inspiration of some of the things we've done and tried to do in the past. So it's just about
one-handed catches every week when I played. There just wasn't any cameras invented back when I played them. So
yeah.
I'm sure there's a Polaroid somewhere with it on Tim.
It's always black and white.
And so obviously when we spoke last time, I think it was just when the kind of lockdown had kicked in, so everyone's plans are kind of ground to a halt. What kind of stuff have you been doing since everything started to kind of awaken again?
Yeah, I mean, it's as we all know, it's definitely been unique for us as a sport. And I think the biggest thing we've all been worried about is it's kind of just losing participants to the sport. You know, Kenny and I are quite fortunate in a way that we're able to, again, wear many hats, right? We both work for BAFCA, we both work for BAFA, you know, and so we get to stay in it a lot more. And perhaps sometimes that kind of puts blinders on us because we see all the great things that we're trying to do behind the scenes. So for us, we've had a lot going on, but actually, you know, this time has been a really great time to reflect on what are our goals as the UK Jukes. I mean, heck, like writing a children's book during lockdown has been pretty cool. Not something we ever thought that we would do. But, you know, being able to reach out to the community and just seeing how passionate people are about the sport and getting back to playing again. I mean, that's kind of what's inspired our Duke's Royal Tour right now. You know, everyone wants to just be together. It's not just about playing the sport. It's about literally bringing the community together and enjoying each other's company. And I think so many people have been missing that throughout the past year.
Yeah, I think, you know, as we came in, I think there were 3 or 4 iterations of wanting to get started a bit, jumping the gun a bit. You know, every time COVID sort of finished, it was like, oh yeah, let's get back on it. But I think one thing we saw was the potential, vast potential that non-contact football could have, you know, or does have. And I say non-contact because that's not just flag, which some people would, you know, might think is quite a niche from an American football standpoint, but also from a 7-on-7 standpoint, where, or even, you know, O-line, D-line going against each other without, basically football without the helmets and shoulder pads. And then coming out of COVID, a non-contact element of it where any sort of contact is fleeting. So we kind of wanted to push the 7-on-7 element, obviously get back to flag, and just give people a chance to play. I think one of the things we perhaps lack in this country is, in the UK in general, is just opportunities to play. If I want to play football or rugby, or, you know, I can go around to the park, around the corner from me, there'll be someone there with a team, you know, join it, you know, and get to play. I get to play matches. But opportunities to play football competitively at whatever level that might be are so few and far between that the more opportunities we can give people to play, I think the better it is for the growth and the development of the sport.
Yeah, that's a really, yeah, definitely. Because you touched on right at the beginning how it all started was like imitating Odell Beckham Jr. And there's like, you've got loads of time to go down to the park with your mate and just run routes and stuff like that. But there's nothing compared to actually playing a proper competitive game.
Yeah. I watch, I'm not going to name any names. I watch a bunch of kids that we know, kind of, they go to the park and they run one-on-ones all day, every day. They run one-on-ones because they see these Instagram videos of DBs getting turned around and stuff, and they all want to do that. But, you know, put 4 of them, 5 of them on a pitch together and say, right, run a play, run a series of plays, you know, like get a drive moving, and then the kind of football education is lost. So that's if we can get more games, you know, young people, not just young people, people in general will start to draw their own plays if there are matches to play and if there is a reason to do it. And it's about giving them that reason, that motivation.
I must say, having tried to coach when I worked in America, I coached some kids playing football, and I was like, I played fullback, I know offensive plays. And I like went up there, I was like, I don't know anything.
They're on a different level in the States. I mean, we've talked about that just being out here in Germany. Sometimes you're like, gosh, some of these high school kids would kill us. They just know so much from a young age. It's just so much more natural to them. But I guess it's the same thing with football in the UK. I mean, that's just such a sport that's ingrained from as soon as you can stand up and kick a ball.
Yeah, I remember I worked with the 8-year-olds, and there was one kid there who was pretty tall for his age, but he could just throw the football so far. I was like, how can you throw a football that well at 8 years old? And he's like, well, I've been throwing it since I was like 3. And I was like, yeah. And I felt like all the English lads, except for myself, because I suck at soccer, they were all just unbelievable at soccer because they've all played it since they were young. It just carries on that, like, their American, just the muscle memory behind it's crazy.
And even that kid at 8 probably has a lot more playing and practice experience than a lot of people in the UK do at 19, 20, because for those 4 years, if we're not, I think we find the game quite at a later stage at this point in time, and it's about helping people to find the game a bit earlier, because then those skills are picked up and developed. Throwing is something, again, that we don't really do, whereas in the States you have baseball, you have football, there's a lot of, just that kind of one-arm throwing that goes on, that is perhaps not as prevalent here. So yeah, the more people can get to see it and do it, the better it is.
Tell you what, I know Joe can throw a football because he played cricket, and cricketers have got a wicked arm.
I tell you what, a few of my mates over sort of at the back end of last year, we went down and played 3-on-3, bit of American football. And it just became competition of who could throw the ball the furthest, and accuracy went out the window, technique went out the window, and it just. But you're right, it's just like going down to the park with mates and just running plays, and like the amount of like satisfaction you get from just selling a few of your mates completely the wrong way whilst one of your other guys runs a little outside route. It's amazing, and it's just you're right. That entry level just to get people in and playing and getting a feel for it is just so important. It's what we have been missing in this country. So no, it's good that you guys are going all out for that.
And do you think is there or will there be an uptick in kind of the amount of participation, people coming forward? Because obviously it used to be you'd have a level of people always kind of bobbing along, but now that everyone's been deprived for so long, do you anticipate kind of or has there been like a wave of new people coming forward to play it?
I mean, I think that naturally we're going to lose some people off the past year, but actually I think people who perhaps had never played the sport before are kind of more keen to get involved. And because it's almost like every team gets to start all over again, so they're able to advertise to rugby, to soccer, to cricket, to whomever, and bring in people that way, which is pretty exciting for our sport, because we're just going to make everyone better by doing that. But I think it also comes down to past year has been great for BAFA in terms of being able to actually let's get a clear vision going forwards, and part of that vision is increasing flag football in particular. And then when you see worldwide that we've got the World Championships in December now in Jerusalem, and then World Games next year, and then potentially Olympics in 2028, I think there's so much room for growth and people to get involved, not just from a playing perspective, but coaching. And I know a lot more people are starting to actually think this could really be a career for me, whether it's going to schools and teaching or, whatever that looks like, officiating. I think there's just so many more pathways than there ever have been before. And, the relationships with the CFL, we've got players that are able to go out and play, and international pathway, and the NFL Academy. I mean, gosh, none of these things existed a few years ago. So how cool is it to think that actually we can change lives through the sport of American football?
I'm curious, so how much have you guys been following the developments of the European Football League and the United Kingdom Football League?
I'll take the EFL side. Kenny can take the UK side. Does that work? Or the ELF. I guess in terms of the ELF, it'd be really interesting just being out here in Germany and obviously having that be a big competitor with EFL 1. Yeah, so they're getting some really great players in. You'll also be getting the guys that are kind of have been at the CFL and perhaps have been dropped, or players that were part of the international player program and they haven't been able to play. I think the biggest thing is, will it happen? Is there the money behind it? Are there the stadiums behind it? The idea of it sounds great, and it's people wanting to kind of resurrect NFL Europe. And I don't want to take that away from anyone, because we get more football worldwide. Like, how cool is that? I just hope that it can really be what people envisioned it being. And I'm not 100% sure on that, just kind of sitting where I am now. But I do hope that it works and people get a really great experience from it.
And I think it's the same from the
political answer.
She's been learning, yeah. I think it's the same from a UK point of view, in terms of someone's got to be the first, right? If we're gonna go down this route, someone's got to kind of take that leap and hopefully have all their ducks in a row. And I think naturally with anything that is it has the potential to be a genuine game changer, you don't always. If you're risk averse, you don't jump 2 feet in. You kind of sit back and go, well, and I think the general gist is that it's football, it's development, and you hope it goes well for everyone. But are all the ducks in a row? Will there be the demand for it? Will will the consumers want that, and will they be able to provide what is required? And there are so many different things that affect if it will succeed or not. From finances is the easiest one to look at, but also you could have a bad weather day that means tickets run low and changes a balance sheet for a particular team. Especially early on, things are so sporadic or temperamental. So fingers crossed for everyone. I think people are working hard, and where people are willing to put the work in, like, you can't but wish them the very best, and hopefully it just pushes the game forward to where we all want it to go.
Yeah, totally agree. I think the money thing is always going to be the worry whether the league succeed. But we've spoken to people from both the EFL and UKFL, and they're passionate to make it a success.
Yeah.
And we're behind both leagues. Hopefully, as you say, the more football, the better.
We're behind everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, just hope anyone will come on our podcast. We'll support you.
All very political here.
So yeah, all the best to all of them.
Now, just to kind of jump back to your stuff, you kind of mentioned the world tour. You've got the Royal Tour going on. How's that going? What's that all about? What are you guys kind of doing with all of it?
So the Royal Tour, as I said, I was itching to just, as soon as Boris said, go, we're good. 30. All we needed was 30 on a flag football field. We all make something work. So, and as soon as that happened, we kind of just jumped it and wanted to get involved. Just being plainly honest, I think fives, because it's what people know, has been the most kind of sought after. We've had some great days in London, Aylesbury. We didn't go through with the Bristol event. Where were we last week? In Kent. Thank you. All these days start to like meld into one big flag football event. It's an amazing ride, but you've got to remember stuff. And then this weekend we're in Manchester. You forgive me, I don't know when this airs, so I hope it's still this weekend when this airs. But yeah, this weekend we're in Manchester, which is going to be another big one, slightly bigger than London, and then Northampton on Wednesday is going to be the first day that we really have a proper sevens tournament going. I don't know if, just putting this out there, I don't know, the sevens hasn't been that heavily subscribed, which, just being frank, our assumption was that contact teams would want some form of competition and a way to ease back into competitive. But it seems like with the announcement of the league, which is huge and fantastic work by BAFA, everyone's going back into the contact. So I think the sevens will still have its place, perhaps more in the off season than during the regular season, because people will naturally focus on their contact seasons. But no, things are going really well. And we've still got fingers crossed for our dates in Glasgow. I think Cardiff is going to work. And then we've got Leeds, Sheffield, and one more. There's one more place. Leeds, Sheffield.
Chichester.
Thank you. Chichester. South Coast, that's the one.
I need to get you details. I'll see you at this. I'm in Manchester, so I'll definitely come along this weekend if you've got a bit, like, need someone to come along and help out.
We've got to make sure there's a capacity in our No, but yeah, more than welcome. As long as we've got space, and as long as it's within our COVID numbers, it'd be amazing to have you down.
I'll drop you guys a message afterwards.
Thank you.
That sounds fantastic. Kind of, is it kind of people are opting in, or is it again working with kind of youth groups and stuff like that?
So we put it out to everyone. So we've had basically we had quite a lot of conversations with BAFA. So BAFA are partners in it. We also got Wilson to sponsor it. And the biggest thing for us was we didn't want it to be exclusive to just BAFA teams. It had to be an entry point for whether it was youth clubs, whether it was there are a ton of kind of businesses that have these teams that play at weekends but aren't a part of any formal league or structure or whatever. Here's a tournament to play in, come down, and take part in the day. So we wanted it to be something that people from all different areas could put a team together and sign up. And we've had that. We had a team called the Fruit Bats, last weekend. We've had the kids from Big Kid Foundation who are, going to be genuinely the next generation of footballers, and there are some ridiculous athletes. There's the Blitzer kid, Phoebe. I think he's must be 14, 15 maybe. He covers the 14 odd yards from blitzer to quarterback in next to no time, and he doesn't miss. Like, he doesn't miss flags. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen, because I fancy myself as a bit of a mover and a shaker when it comes to evading tacklers, and yeah, the pressure was he didn't get me. Caveat, he did not get me, but yeah, the pressure was there. So there'll be it's a great chance. It's a great chance to get experience for people who are new to the sport. It's a great chance for people who have left the contact element and still want to play and get some of those energy, the thing you spoke about, Joe, in terms of the 3-on-3 at the park and selling a fake one way and then someone just by themselves in the far corner. It's just still an amazing feeling, and it's so much fun. Give every chance to play. I'm going to keep saying that.
Fun?
I'm going to keep
How
saying.
How much fun was writing the book as well?
So the book, interestingly, started off as, we wanted it to be a TV show. I'll just be honest, because books are great. If we have a TV show, like, that's my show on Netflix or whatever. So we did have some scripts written down, a show Bible. I don't know if anyone knows anything about TV shows in here. And as with these things, we pitched it to a few people. Some good feedback we got on it, but no one was willing. No one took it on. So then COVID hit, and it was like, right, you can self-publish on Amazon. You can go that route with it. So writing the book was fun because Phoebe's idea was like, let's do something for girls. Let's make sure it's inclusive of girls and women and females, and has that kind of role in there. Obviously, the book is diverse, and we just formed our first Dukes kind of flag team at the time. Bunch of mercs basically just going around trying to win all the tournaments that they were going. So the idea was to turn everyone into kids and make a book that was both fun to read as a story, but also then subliminally to an extent, but also quite literal in educating about some bits of American football. And we've done. I don't know if you guys have got copies. We'll probably send some out after these. If you don't have them already, I will say shame on you if you don't have it already. But we'll send some out just in case. But we've got a page in there that is very technical. It tells you what a center is, what a snap is, who the wide receiver is, who the quarterback is. The rest of the book is pictures and stories, and then we have a glossary at the back that explains the terms. And there's so many different bits that hopefully any young person that picks up the book, without necessarily having ever touched a football, never having played it, understands a bit about the sport, understands why when they see it on TV, why is everyone standing still? Why are they, why aren't they moving? Why are they? And then everything just happens and they start running around, and it hopefully helps them make sense of what they're seeing on the screen. But yeah, writing the book was fun. It was challenging. I think there were rounds of editing that Phoebe could talk about that were tedious. There are people that really literally check every dot and cross on T's, and even then, you still get things wrong. But it was good fun, and I think the best bit is you hear all these cliches about it's about the journey. It's not that you've got a book. It's about the process that we went through in putting it together. Is what makes it enjoyable. And then seeing it in people's hands is the weirdest feeling ever, because you're like, oh wow, they're reading our book. That's weird.
All right, amazing. Thank you guys so much for talking about that. Just a little segment to talk about, obviously, the NFL right at the end of this. So we know, Phoebe, you're a Bills fan. Bills did.
Are you actually?
Shut up.
But yeah, obviously the Bills did really, really good. Josh Allen had a fantastic year. I know we were all kind of low key rooting for him, going, yeah, Phoebe's team as well.
Yeah.
Kind of how do you feel about the Bills? How do you feel about going into next year?
Yeah, it's really exciting. And I think to kind of see them from the beginning where you go through all these growing pains, but Coach McDermott had a really clear vision of where he wanted to get to. So to actually see 4 years on that they're getting to exactly where, they've been pointing to and sailing to has been really, really cool to be a part of. And just really seeing Josh's development over the years. I'm sure you guys remember his rookie year and he was making some pretty crazy mistakes, and just to see him not trying to shoulder the team the way that he used to anymore, and obviously having weapons around him, like Diggs has been amazing for him.
Oh, yeah.
Beasley's come through, so it's really quite exciting. And I know that they'll continue to grow and develop, and it's been great. Obviously, I'm still really great friends with all the coaching staff. That's kind of the world that you end up living within. And I'm excited for them for next year. And I think just them having that experience of getting that far within the season, that's the first time a lot of those guys have ever gotten there. So now, it's not going to be new. It's not going to be something they've never experienced. They've already been there. They can visualize it again. And I think that they'll come back even harder next season.
What about you, Kenny? Who do you support?
I support whoever's on offense at the time. No, mildly controversial. So I started when I got into American football. It was long ago enough when YouTube was fairly new, and there were these highlight reels of Mike Vick playing. I remember the video very clearly. 7 minutes 14 seconds it was, and I used to watch it every single day. So he's the reason I got into American football. Fancied myself as a quarterback at the time. That didn't last very long. But when I followed the Falcons. I knew Algie Crumpler. I knew Warwick Dunn, as a kind of three on offense. I didn't really understand much else about the sport apart from these great plays that these guys were making. But then kind of Vic left Falcons, got in trouble, all that stuff. And then when he left,
hold on, Coach Weidinger said the first day that he was there that PETA protesters were standing outside when Vic came into the building.
yeah. So that was but yeah. So then he kind of. So I kind of I have a soft spot for the Falcons. I have a soft spot for Green Bay. Love what Lamar Jackson's doing at the Ravens. I see the Ray Lewis jersey back. Yeah, there we go. Tactical. I don't like the Raiders.
Just to be specific to you.
I'm joking. I'm thinking Tim's gone. He's gone.
I'm back.
No, but to be honest, I just enjoy really good football. I want to see offenses play high velocity offenses. So the Oregon college team from when a few years back, obviously the Kansas City Chiefs and the stuff they're doing, absolutely love it. Any chance to see Lamar Jackson dance around someone, I'm there. Dreams of me playing. That's all we do. That's all we do.
Oh, amazing. Guys, any more questions we've got for him before we let him go?
Yeah, just before we go, and you mentioned before being a Liverpool fan. What's your prediction for tonight then?
Stress. We need to be... No. I'm feeling confident. I think after the tire saga, going into, I think I'm going to say, I think high scoring affair, because end of the season, kind of less
like
to
1
lose.
point.
Oh, nice. I'm going to say 3-2 Liverpool.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I think 3-2
I'll take
Liverpool.
that.
We'll come back to that when it's finished.
I'm supporting Man United tonight. Sorry, boys.
You will be being a Hammers
West
fan.
Ham need to get in the top four somehow.
They don't. West Ham in the Champions League doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
It's like the Jags winning the Super Bowl. It doesn't make any sense. World's broken.
No.
So before we let you guys go, do you want to let all our listeners know where they can find you online and stuff like that, all your social medias?
Sure. Everything is the UK Jukes or UK.Jukes, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. But you ever have any question, just reach out to us. We want to help grow and point you to the right direction. It's been cool over lockdown that people reaching out to us, seeing where they can get involved with their local team. So anything that you guys need, we will do our best to help get you acquainted with the sport or just get you involved.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been really, really nice talking to you guys again. And obviously hope we see you sooner down the road so that we can talk about all the great successes you're having.
Thank
Thanks,
you
guys.
so
Thanks for
much.
having
We'll
us.
see you in
Thank you.
Manchester.
Oh, yeah.